I've known a number of your predecessors, and I wouldn't say they relished dealing with members of Congress. It wasn't the part of the job they liked the most. But you seem to actually, don't dislike it. You talk to a lot of members on both sides. Is that a conscious effort to talk to more members of Congress than maybe some of your predecessors? And do members of Congress tell you all the time, you should be doing this or that? And how do you respond when, you're trying to be polite to them?
It was very conscious, but part of it just was after the hard work done by, Ben Bernanke and Janet Yellen and everyone who was involved to get the economy back to a better place and get the Fed back to a better place. I thought there was an opportunity to really raise our engagement, and I have, and so I do spend a great deal of time. I actually enjoy it. I go into people's offices and I say, I want to hear what's on your mind, and I think they really do appreciate the dialogue and all that, and I appreciate it too. I feel like I learn about them, and they tend to be very interesting people, and they're interested in what we do. So it seems to work, and I'm certainly going to keep doing it.
So when I go see members of Congress from time to time, I sit in their waiting room for quite a while to get in. Do you spend more than 30 seconds in a waiting room, or that 30 seconds will be long?
It happens all the time. Sometimes you go up there and they're voting, and you sit there for an hour, and they can't go, and you go back, and it's fine. That's just part of the deal. We work for them. I mean, we're a creature of Congress. We were effectively the House Financial Services Committee and the Senate Banking Committee are the statutory oversight over this agency in our government. So I take that very seriously. We take our relationships with them seriously, and we want to understand their concerns, and we work hard at that.
Now, as you pointed out earlier, there are 6 members of the Federal Reserve. There's supposed to be 7. We haven't had 7 for quite a while. Do you recommend a 7th person to the president, or do you stay out of that? And how does the Fed operate without 7? It hasn't had 7 for a long time. Do you think it's okay to operate with 5 or 6?
It's certainly okay to operate with 5 or 6. So we were down to 3 for a while. I would say that was more like we had to go to zone defense. That was very, very difficult. But with 5 or 6, we're fine, and with 7, we're fine. The way it works, though, is of course the president has the right of nomination, and the Senate has the right of confirmation. We have no official role to play whatsoever. As a matter of courtesy, traditionally, administrations have, after they've vetted candidates, they will, perhaps send that candidate to be a governor over to meet with the Fed chair. Strictly in their discretion to do that or not, but they have often done that. And then the Fed chair, really, they're not asking you to identify people. They're saying, is this person okay? And you sort of have a nice interview with them and give them your answer. So that's the way it's been traditionally, but really we have no official role, and it's completely up to the administration whether they want to do that or not.
So I don't think we've ever had a case where a chairman of the Fed later became Secretary of the Treasury, and somebody who was on the Fed board later became chairman of the Fed, like you have. And so is it a little awkward to be kind of a situation where your former, let's say, chair is now the Secretary of the Treasury, or does it make it easier because you know her so well?
It's not awkward at all. So I think, I worked at Treasury and I've worked at the Fed. Secretary Yellen worked in the White House on the council. She's chair of the Council of Economic Advisors. And I think both of us understand that Fed and Treasury have different authorities and different roles, but have a long history of institutionally working together for the good of the country. And so we respect each other. We respect the lines very clearly, clear lines, stay in your lane kind of thing. And I think we'll have exactly that kind of we do have exactly that kind of a relationship. I mean, I have no concerns about that at all.
And how do you relate to the administration? Typically, chairs of the Fed will have a regular lunch with the Secretary of Treasury. Sometimes even the President of the United States will have some regular contact. How are you relating to this administration? Do you meet with the Secretary of Treasury regularly, or people on the White House staff, or the President? How are you doing that?
So I think the way the sort of standard way it's happened has been this, that there's a weekly, it had been a breakfast or a lunch between the Secretary of the Treasury and the Fed chair, and it rotates back and forth into each building. That's now a phone call. And so that's what I've been doing with Secretary Yellen. In addition, there's been an irregular but roughly monthly lunch with the head of the National Economic Council. So there's a relationship there. Meetings with presidents and Fed chairs are very, very, very infrequent, and and not on any sort of a schedule. So I have not met with the president.
Had you met him before he was president? You must have met him at some point in his life or your life, or you really haven't met him yet.
I think I've shaken his hand, but I have not really met him and talked to him.